In my previous life, I was criticized on social media for refusing to exchange bouquets with an influencer at my wedding. Later, I found out that the influencer had been secretly in love with my husband for years and wanted to use this trick to steal my happiness. Later, she was abused by her husband and blamed me. She broke into my home and pushed me off a tall building. When I woke up again, the influencer's wedding car was parked next to mine. When two brides meet, they are supposed to exchange their bouquets. As soon as she finished speaking, she froze, staring at the chrysanthemums in my hand. Dear bride, there's a tradition here. When two brides meet, they are supposed to exchange their bouquets. My car window was knocked on. Even through the glass, I could see Lucy's distorted smiling face. She held a phone in one hand and a wilted bouquet in the other, her eyes constantly darting inside. It seemed she was trying to see through the privacy film, hoping to catch a glimpse of the situation inside and lock eyes with the man she had been longing for. To her disappointment, there were only two people in the car, the driver and me. She said tirelessly, "Why isn't the bride coming out? Is she unwilling to part with her bouquet?" Exchanging bouquets can exchange happiness, otherwise, it might bring bad luck. At the same time, she also tried to open the car door. I rolled down the window, using my body to block the bouquet hidden behind me, only showing my face. "Sorry, my bouquet isn't really presentable, so let's not exchange. I'll give you a pack of wedding candies instead." Before I could finish, Lucy shoved her phone in my face. "Bride, your makeup is so beautiful, your bouquet must be just as lovely. Don't you want happiness? This is our local custom, you know. There are tens of thousands of people watching my live stream. If you don't change the bouquet, my followers won't bless you. Come on, everyone. Hit that follow button." The streamer is getting married today and ran into a stingy bride who's all dressed up but refuses to change the bouquet. Lucy spoke loudly, her eyes darting around. I pretended to be helpless. "Sigh, since you've said so, then let's change it." Her eyes lit up instantly. "I've always said that changing the bouquet is like changing your luck. You." Her words caught in her throat. I slowly opened the car door, revealing the bouquet of flowers beside me, a mix of yellow and white chrysanthemums. "Today is the anniversary of my third granduncle's passing. If you don't mind, you can take the bouquet." I smiled as I looked at Lucy, this time enunciating clearly so that even the people in her live stream could hear every word distinctly. In my previous life, at this very moment, Lucy had tried to exchange her bouquet, which cost less than $30, for the one I had carefully selected, worth $3,000. Back then, I refused, but I never expected to face a cyberbullying storm that very day. Lucy later broke down in tears during her live stream, claiming she was only following tradition and never imagined I would refuse to exchange happiness. She even said in her stream that if there was even the slightest unhappiness in her marriage, it would be because of me, and she insinuated that I looked too young to afford such an expensive car, implying that I must have married an old man, and perhaps even climbed the ladder as a mistress. Her fans, who are mostly young, were easily swayed by her instigation and immediately jumped to her defense. Some began doxing my personal information and widely spreading fabricated rumors and explicit photoshopped images. Overnight, thousands of ex-boyfriends suddenly appeared online, all claiming I had swindled their money, cheated on them with multiple partners, and spinning countless fabricated stories about me. For example, they claimed I used to work as a hostess in a nightclub before seducing a wealthy man. For example, I got my position by relying on my looks, and the person I married is a leader in his 60s or 70s with a receding hairline and a beer belly. Countless funeral wreaths were placed at my doorstep, paint was splashed on my door, and I was constantly pointed at and gossiped about whenever I went out. To make matters worse, some people camped outside my house all day, live streaming in an attempt to capitalize on my situation for a wave of attention. I hid at home for days, slowly adjusting my mindset before I dared to face this negative attention. More and more people are speaking up for me online, and some who can't stand Lucy have even created comprehensive counter-evidence videos. I only just found out that Lucy was actually my husband's classmate from middle school. Looking at Lucy's high school photos, I couldn't connect them to the glamorous influencer she appears as online. Back in high school, she was expelled for bullying her classmates. She changed her name and underwent plastic surgery, using her well-recovered post-surgery face to become a minor online celebrity on the platform. Influencers all have their own circles. Lucy frequently interacts with another influencer of the same type, who married very well. Her husband is handsome, wealthy, and always does as she says. Lucy was envious and asked her about her methods for taming her husband. The top influencer told her that it doesn't matter who you marry initially, As long as you find a woman who is happily married and exchange bridal bouquets with her, you can exchange happiness with her. Lucy took this as gospel. She first accepted the proposal from her top fan, then began searching for the right candidate. And just 1 month before the wedding, my husband happened to return to our small town for a class reunion, where he also announced our upcoming marriage. Lucy selected him as the unlucky one to exchange happiness with. After learning about this, I was about to tell my husband when, unexpectedly, Lucy, who had rushed into marriage, was abused by her husband, the top donor from her live streams, blaming me for everything. She came straight to my home under the pretense of apologizing, tricked me into opening the door, and pushed me from the high-rise building. As I fell into the abyss, I saw the madness in Lucy's eyes. Why are you unwilling to exchange happiness? Your happiness was supposed to be mine. Your man is mine too, mine. The moment I woke up, I almost thought I was still floating in the air. If it weren't for the heavy wedding dress I was wearing, I wouldn't have been able to gather my thoughts. I never expected to be reborn. And the moment I saw my husband, tears nearly streamed down my face. The wedding car was about to leave soon, and I occupied the lead car all by myself, forcing my husband to ride in the car behind. I handed the expensive bridal bouquet to the bridesmaid and instructed her to keep a close watch on my husband, making sure that no matter what happened, he must not get out of the car. Although they didn't understand, they still respected my decision. Before the motorcade departed, I stopped by a flower shop downstairs and bought a few chrysanthemums. I casually wrapped them up to form a bouquet in the style of a bridal arrangement. Although the shopkeeper didn't understand, I paid a generous amount, so they nodded and agreed. Lucy, didn't you think a few flowers could exchange for happiness? The form of the flowers doesn't matter, what matters is the sentiment behind them. Now my bouquet is made of chrysanthemums. Are you unwilling to exchange now? Lucy's face turned pale and then flushed. Why is your bouquet like this? If someone in the family has died, you shouldn't be getting married. I smiled at her gently, deliberately feigning a pale expression. My third granduncle was very good to me. His dying wish was to see me get married, so I chose to marry my beloved on the anniversary of his passing, using these chrysanthemums, which symbolize beauty, to tell him that I will be happy. Who doesn't know how to put on an act in front of the camera? What's the flower language of chrysanthemums? I made it all up. As for my great-uncle, today is indeed the anniversary of his death. Then I don't want to change it. How unlucky, Lucy muttered, about to leave. At that moment, the driver suddenly rolled down the window. Is she Lucy, the one who really spoils her fans? I know her. My daughter is her fan and watches her videos. Finally, the driver said excitedly. Lucy mentioned a couple of days ago that she would exchange her bouquet with the first bride she met on the road. I never thought we'd run into her. Miss Crystal, hurry up and give her the bouquet. I didn't expect the driver to be so helpful. Revealing her teaser video during the live stream, Lucy's face visibly twisted in displeasure. For this live stream, Lucy also filmed a video in advance to announce it, specifically emphasizing in the video that exchanging bouquets symbolizes the beautiful wish of sharing happiness. She also confidently stated that she doesn't care about the value of the bouquet, as long as it can be exchanged. It represents a gesture of goodwill. At the end of the video, she playfully remarked that she hopes the bride she exchanges bouquets with won't refuse just because she's poor. After all, what's being exchanged is a gesture of goodwill, and that goodwill cannot be measured by money. These words laid the foundation for her future online harassment of me, and now they have become the backlash that haunts her, in front of so many fans. If Lucy is unwilling to exchange the bouquet, she would be slapping herself in the face. If it hadn't been mentioned, it might have been fine, but now that the driver brought it up, Lucy has no choice but to give the flowers. After all, she is an influencer with 100,000 followers. A live stream isn't like editing a video. You can't just cut and paste as you please. Here you go. What a lousy day. I never expected that swapping bouquets would end up with me getting chrysanthemums. Lucy gritted her teeth. She suddenly looked at me. Hey, you, how about we don't swap after all? My bouquet isn't worth much. She had intended to swap bouquets all along, so why would she choose an expensive one, after thinking for so long? She actually wanted to shift the blame onto me and have me be the one to call off the swap, but I gave her the chance from the start. It was Lucy herself who didn't value it. I pretended to be surprised. How could that be? What we exchanged was happiness, and it has nothing to do with the value of the flowers. Aren't you an influencer? How can you go back on your word? The moment her status as an influencer was mentioned, Lucy reluctantly said, forget it, just take it. Lucy expressionlessly threw the flowers into my arms. I smiled and said, thank you. Both of us will definitely be very happy. I'll follow you as soon as I get back and help you gain some followers." I watched as Lucy stormed back to her wedding car, clutching the chrysanthemums. As she walked, it looked like she was about to snap the 8-centimeter heels of her high heels. As soon as she left, I immediately opened my phone and clicked into Lucy's live stream, LOL. She thought she could get an expensive bouquet because it's a luxury car, but she didn't expect the rich to be even more unconventional. They use chrysanthemums, ha 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 ha. I've always said Lucy's bouquet wasn't worth anything. It looked messy, the flowers were wilted, and I thought it was strange. Turns out she just wanted to take advantage of others. Don't you think it's weird? Who uses chrysanthemums for a wedding? Could it be intentional? Which fan did this? I've never liked that little punk. Well done. Who are you calling a little punk? Watch your language. Where are the moderators? Kick this person out already. So many haters. Influencers like Lucy not only have adoring young fans but also attract haters who enjoy watching the drama. Normally, Lucy would have already asked her moderators to remove the haters, but right now, she's emotionally overwhelmed and visibly upset. The entire team is busy comforting her. Who has the time to manage the public chat? Satisfied, I exited the live stream and opened the chat with my bridesmaid. Now do you see why I asked you to sit in the back? Bridesmaid, giving you a thumbs up. Bridesmaid, don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on your husband. He almost rushed out to confront someone earlier, but luckily I stopped him. In my previous life, my husband actually got out of the car and argued with Lucy. He snatched Lucy's phone, ended the live stream, and told her that pointing a phone at someone's face was extremely disrespectful. At the same time, Lucy deliberately fainted on the ground, and her convoy blocked ours, refusing to leave for a long time. Lucy's top fan was still making a fuss, claiming that we had physically assaulted someone and demanding an explanation from us. By the time my husband and I arrived at the hotel in the wedding car, we were already late, because the live stream was cut off. The audience didn't get to see my husband's face, but Lucy deliberately spoke ambiguously, and her team used biased language to portray my husband as a sleazy middle-aged man. While Lucy said not to dig into her private life, she also sarcastically remarked that I could have chosen any other profession but this one. Her young fans then took up the charge, slandering me in every possible way. If I had let my husband get out of the car just now, I'm afraid it would have caused more trouble later. So it was better not to let Lucy see him, to avoid her falsely accusing him of hitting someone. After the wedding, my husband and I snuggled in bed, counting the money with the bridesmaids and groomsmen. We had just finished registering and checking all the gift money in front of us when one of the bridesmaids suddenly exclaimed, "Baby, you're trending. The person we met today is actually an influencer." My husband immediately opened his phone to check. It turned out that after Lucy went back, she recorded a crying video while holding the chrysanthemums. In the video, Lucy tearfully said, "I don't know if I offended the bride in some way, but she actually used this kind of prank to ruin my wedding. However, please don't dox her. I believe she didn't mean it. Just as ambiguous as in the previous life, just as inciting online violence as in the previous life." I sneered as I watched this video clip and scrolled through the comments below. Clearly, her comments section had been cleaned up, with the top comments all from die-hard fans who had high likes but no replies. What normal person gets married holding chrysanthemums? Who gets married when someone in their family has just died? So unlucky. Lucy, don't cry. Let's send a funeral wreath to that old witch. That old witch is so ugly, no amount of makeup can hide it. She must be jealous of how beautiful our Lucy is. What third uncle? He's already dead. Such a distant relative, who even cares? It must be intentional. Lucy, stop crying. The post mentioning my great uncle has already received 20,000 likes. Scrolling further down, some even turned my face into memes and photoshopped it into a memorial portrait. As for my ID card and name, they are everywhere. My husband was so angry that his eyebrows were crooked. What do these people mean? This is a violation of your portrait rights. Don't worry, it's my portrait rights that were violated, not yours. I slowly opened my contacts and directly found a lawyer friend. Me, help me out, take on a big case. After the discussion, I tidied up my makeup, deliberately took off the red toast dress, and changed into a white dress paired with a shawl. The bridesmaid immediately took out a powder puff to touch up my makeup, saying, "Do you want to fight back online?" I opened the video and spoke slowly to the screen. "Hello everyone. I am the bride getting married today and one of the parties involved in the bouquet exchange. I'm here to give some responses. First, it was this Miss Lucy who approached me and asked to exchange bouquets, but after I clearly stated that my bouquet wasn't suitable for display, Miss Lucy repeatedly insisted on swapping. Second, someone told me that the local custom is for two brides who meet to exchange bouquets as a symbol of goodwill, which is why I agreed, finally. I hope everyone will stop spreading my personal information. In addition, regarding the matter of my third granduncle, I hope all netizens can refrain from discussing it and disturbing the peace of the deceased. I recorded it in one take without even editing, and directly uploaded it to the video platform, at the same time, drawing from my past life experience in combating online harassment. I quickly contacted the official customer service to request real name verification, soon. The topic, bride and groom exchange bouquets, the parties respond, appeared under my video, and the comments section was instantly flooded. After doing all that, I closed my phone. Alright, everyone, go back and rest. After the bridesmaids and groomsmen left, my husband frowned and said, I think responding like this will only invite more criticism, and people will say you did it on purpose. I blinked at him. Did you forget something, me? I even used beauty filters when taking photos for you today, the husband repeatedly insisted. I really didn't forget, honestly. Getting this blockhead to finally propose to me was already a miracle. Now expecting him to remember who Lucy is, that's probably harder than the journey to the West. I sighed and pulled up a no-makeup photo of Lucy online. Now do you recognize her? The husband shook his head, his face once again showing that clear yet clueless expression. No, I don't. I had no choice but to open his phone, find his high school class group, and scroll for a long time before finally locating the group photo from that day's gathering. I pointed at the girl standing in the center. Do you recognize her now? My husband was stunned. Are you saying the bride from today's wedding, the photo you just showed me, and my classmate are all the same person? I nodded. Before we left, I happened to be scrolling through videos and saw her live streaming. Her car was parked right on the route our convoy was supposed to take. I found it strange, so I looked her up and discovered she's your schoolmate. After all that explanation, with my husband's sharp mind, he naturally pieced all the evidence together. The conclusion he reached was that Lucy did it on purpose. My husband's face grew even more furious. I've never had any grudge against her. Could it be that she's holding a grudge just because I didn't let her copy my homework back in school? This whole situation was an undeserved misfortune for both my husband and me. I quickly comforted my husband. Don't overthink it, I'll take care of the rest. My husband, who is naturally easy to placate and trusts me completely, immediately calmed down upon hearing this. He said with lingering fear, it's a good thing you're clever, otherwise the bouquet your friend worked so hard on would have gone to her for nothing. After a good night's sleep, I woke up to find my phone flooded with calls and my inbox filled with all kinds of curses. I simply removed the SIM card, out of sight, out of mind. Fortunately, I had turned off all the ways to add me on WeChat, otherwise even my WeChat account wouldn't have been spared. When I opened the short video app, I found quite a few private messages in the account's back end. Some cursed me to die, some thought I did the right thing, and there were even MCN companies reaching out to collaborate. I didn't reply to any of the private messages, quietly waiting for the situation to develop. If I were Lucy, after doing something so thoughtless, I would choose to disappear and pretend it never happened, waiting for the attention to fade. However, Lucy is a woman who sees traffic as her lifeblood, and right now, it's a massive fortune for her. After all, as an influencer with tens of thousands of followers, she naturally has a team behind her managing public opinion. Her team has already started to operate, following the same pattern as in her previous life, spreading rumors, engaging in female rivalry, and tarnishing reputations. I think it was intentional. Didn't that woman's driver say he knew Lucy? This Miss Crystal is clearly a homewrecker. Has anyone had their husband stolen by her? Go confront her right away. I feel so bad for Lucy. This woman must be jealous of how beautiful Lucy is. She's so ugly. I don't know where she gets the nerve to compare herself to Lucy. I know this woman. She used to work at XXX Foot Massage as technician No. 96. I even have a video of her. Drop a comment, bro, and I'll add you to the group. Yeah, I've booked her too. She was quite gentle. I never expected being a technician could be so profitable. She's already cleaned up her act and moved on. Wonder who the unlucky guy is who ended up with her. I sneered, took screenshots of a few more people, and sent them to the lawyer, instructing him to file a lawsuit directly after organizing the evidence. Scrolling through the comments, I finally found the content I was looking for. Someone posted a photo. In the photo, I had pink hair and was taking a picture with an elderly man with white hair. Girls, this person is my best friend. She used to be kept by an old man, and after he passed away, she took his inheritance. She got beaten up by the old man's son. This photo was posted by herself on her social media. I really envy her. She doesn't have to do anything, just chats with an old man and makes a fortune. As soon as this comment was posted, the number of likes quickly approached 10,000, and the replies were filled with foul language. Just like before, I took a screenshot and asked my lawyer to help collect evidence, then opened his profile, before he could hide or delete his account. I recorded all the content on his profile. His profile picture is pink, and his gender is listed as female, but his vibe is so strong that you can tell at a glance he's a man. I scrolled through the videos on his profile and finally, in a gaming video, spotted his WeChat avatar and nickname. After doing all this, I finally closed the screen recording. I switched to WeChat, scrolled through my friend list for a while, and finally figured out who he was: Tom, my colleague at the internship company. The one who leaked the photo must be someone from my friend list. In my previous life, when I was being cyberbullied, I often turned off my phone to avoid affecting my mood and didn't check any messages. My friends were also worried it would affect me, so they never mentioned the online gossip. By the time I discovered the rumors, the person who spread the photo had already disappeared without a trace, and now, I was well prepared, so I caught him red-handed, with everything set up. I went live directly. The moment the stream started, tens of thousands of people flooded into the live room. Is this going to be a sales pitch? Is this a script? I heard you're an old man's delight. How much for one night? A foot massage parlor girl went legit, scammed an old man out of his pension, and now she's going live to hustle money from big brothers. When I saw her statement yesterday, she made a lot of sense. You're all just internet influencers hired trolls, right? Why are you still spreading rumors? I had already mentally prepared for these negative comments, so I wasn't afraid at all. It wasn't until the number of viewers in the live stream reached 50,000 that I cleared my throat and spoke. Thank you all for your attention to this matter. So far, Miss Lucy's team has not contacted me. What I want to say is, I paused for a moment and placed my laptop in front of the camera. From yesterday until now, within 24 hours. Many people in the comments have pretended to know me, spread rumors, slandered me, and used foul language. I didn't respond because I was busy gathering evidence. I've hired a professional domestic team. Anyone who posts false information or spreads rumors in the comments section, and whose posts reach a certain number of likes, has had their evidence recorded. I will report all of them to the police shortly. The internet is not a lawless place, even if you delete your account. I can still find you. As I said this, I smiled at the screen. The barrage almost stopped for a second. Sis, you're so fierce and domineering. Who are you trying to scare? Don't be intimidated, everyone. She's definitely trying to change the subject. She was the one who started the online bullying against Lucy. If anything happens, it'll happen to her first. Besides, there are so many of us. Can she even sue all of us? Looking at this comment, I directly pinned it in my live stream and said with a smile, "This Lucy's devoted fan. I remember your ID. You've been quite active in my comments section. How much did they pay you? I wonder if it's enough to cover your compensation. I truly cannot sue each and every one of you, but I will definitely not let you off the hook." Additionally, before this incident occurred, I was just an ordinary person with less than 100 followers. If someone hadn't disclosed my name, ID number, and photo, I wouldn't have responded. I hope this matter ends here. If the rumors and slander continue, and my personal information is further leaked, I will use legal means to protect myself and fight you to the end. After saying this, I ignored the scrolling comments and ended the live stream. An unconventional marketing account compiled the events of the past 2 days, clarifying the timeline and explaining the whole story. She specifically selected a few particularly vocal individuals from my comments section and grouped them together. Finally, she expressed her admiration. "I truly admire Miss Crystal. It takes immense mental strength for a woman to face such overwhelming malice after experiencing these things. I also hope that all girls who encounter similar situations learn to protect themselves using legal means." Public opinion quickly shifted. It started with just a small influencer crying. But now the situation has escalated to the point where I've become a strong-willed woman fighting against cyberbullying. This marketing account has a huge following, and the comments section is filled with people saying they didn't know who Lucy was at first, but after watching the edited video, they immediately became my fans. My follower count skyrocketed, surpassing Lucy's in less than 2 hours after the marketing account posted the edited video. At the same time, my private messages are flooded with apologies. The malicious comments under yesterday's video have already been deleted by the uploader. replaced by a comment section filled with apologies and admiration. The top comment was actually from someone familiar, Lucy's devoted fan, Miss Crystal. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm begging you, I'm still young and was just misled by Lucy. Can you give me a chance? I've already deleted my comment. I know I was wrong. You can see my sincerity. I can give you anything, I replied to him. It's the law that will judge whether you were wrong, not me. My role is to hire a lawyer to send you through the legal process. This sentence is being widely shared and liked again. I noticed that the account that posted the photo of me and my third uncle in the comments section has already been deleted. Lucy's team finally reacted and started a counter-defense campaign. She began crying in front of the camera again. It's not a script. It's really not a script. I don't know anything. The other side must be doing it on purpose. And I didn't ask you to cyberbully her. I'm really upset right now, and I think I'm already suffering from depression, she cried as she pulled out a depression self-assessment form, which indicated signs of depression. If you cyberbully me, I'll call the police, but there's one thing I must say, she did it on purpose. What kind of normal person uses chrysanthemums for a wedding? She saw that I was getting married and didn't want me to be happy, that's why she deliberately went after me. Depression is such a convenient excuse. It gets dragged out whenever it's needed. Because of her depression, Lucy once again stirred up sympathy from many people, under the team's operation. Netizens finally turned their attention to the chrysanthemum bouquet. Yes, normal people wouldn't use chrysanthemums as a bridal bouquet, but I'm different. In response to this question, I posted another video. Everyone is very curious about who my great-uncle is and why I chose to get married on the day of his passing. Uncle had been injured in his early years and had no children, so he treated my mother as his own daughter. After I was born, he was the one who treated me the best in the whole family. My husband is the child of his comrade in arms. The old man always tried to bring us together and even personally set our wedding date. It's just that he passed away right when, at this point, my voice was already choked with emotion. Third uncle treated me very well. In his eyes, I was his own granddaughter. My parents were busy with work, so he would take me to and from school and buy me snacks, if my clothes were torn. He wouldn't let my grandma mend them and would instead buy me new ones on the street. When I went to study in another city, he took his first ever flight just to visit me. When it snowed during my childhood, he would personally build snowmen for me and give each one a name. He was from the north, timid and not fond of drinking. His wife was pregnant, and by the time he returned, the child would already be able to call him Dad. They liked to call third great-uncle little third brother, and always saved the best food for him. Third great-uncle remembered every one of his comrades, and during holidays, he would line up a series of wine bowls in the open space at home. Such a good person, years after their passing, is being insulted and slandered by netizens because of a photo from a sick bed and a malicious individual with ill intentions. Unable to rest in peace even in the afterlife. In my previous life, I never found out who leaked the photo, but now, I have caught the one who started it all. At the end of the video, I have attached screenshots of the malicious comments with the photo and the deleted account page of the poster. Do you think deleting your account means you can just walk away? The net of justice has no escape. When you posted that comment full of malice, you should have been prepared to face the consequences that are rightfully yours. Not long after the video was released, it caused another huge uproar. Soon, someone identified my great-uncle based on the photos. He was a veteran who had been on the battlefield, defended the nation's borders, and achieved remarkable military feats. He lost a leg in the war, but he remained optimistic and positive. All the subsidies provided by the state were distributed to the families of his comrades. Someone produced photos and receipts, telling everyone that they were the descendants of my great-uncle's comrade, and that my great-uncle sent money to their family every year. A veteran who has been on the battlefield is slandered as an old pervert who keeps young women. Anyone with a sense of justice would feel troubled. The order in which identities are revealed is crucial. In my past life, I avoided everything until it was too late to save the situation. Now, as soon as the first signs appear, I nip them in the bud. From then on, no one dared to throw mud at my third uncle again. Lucy has finally faced the backlash of online popularity. Why use chrysanthemums as a bridal bouquet for a wedding? Others can choose whatever flowers they want for their wedding. Why choose to get married on the anniversary of an elder's passing? The groom has no objections, so who do you think you are? Moreover, it was the elder's own decision. If you have a problem, go confront them directly. Lucy's so-called depression is nothing more than a self-assessment form. Netizens have already uncovered that she faked her academic credentials and didn't even finish high school. She bullied her classmates in middle school and once injured someone's eye. she is full of lies, promotes low-quality medical beauty ads, and tricks underage girls into taking out loans for plastic surgery. She creates red and black lists for skincare products, putting brands she has advertised on the red list and those that haven't paid protection fees on the black list. Several influencers who were close to her have publicly distanced themselves, making their stance clear. Lucy finally came to apologize to me. Having already died once, I certainly wasn't foolish enough to meet her alone, so I met her with my lawyer at the entrance of the police station near her company. Lucy, wearing a mask, tearfully said, "Miss Crystal, I apologize to you. That day, I was truly misguided. I saw that your car was nice and wanted to exchange bouquets with you. When I saw the chrysanthemums, I found it hard to accept, which led me to act irrationally and make unreasonable remarks. I apologize to you and to the elderly. I'm sorry, please forgive me." Is she apologizing to me? No, she just bowed to the traffic. Me, I accept your apology, but I won't forgive you. You'd better take care of yourself. Lucy's expression changed instantly. Do you think marrying him will bring you eternal happiness? Let me tell you, I swapped the bouquets with you. Your happiness is mine, he will be mine too. Seeing her sudden outburst, my lawyer and the police officers at the station immediately became alert. I find it a bit amusing. Happiness is cultivated, not exchanged. Do you really think a bridal bouquet is some kind of Aladdin's lamp? Crystal, he was supposed to be mine. If I hadn't let go back then, I would be the one marrying him now. Lucy suddenly screamed hysterically and lunged at me. I was prepared and quickly dodged. Little Tiger bot document anti-piracy. Choose Little Tiger for bookfinding robot, stable and reliable, no pitfalls. She refused to give up, even when the police officers pinned her to the ground. She used the rhinestones on her nails to scratch the back of an officer's hand. She can't really have a mental illness, can she? My lawyer muttered, while still managing to slip a business card to the police officer, telling him to contact him for a lawsuit against the officer. I turned off the live stream, shrugged, and said with a laugh, maybe. The few fans Lucy originally had fell completely silent after watching my live stream. She admitted to knowing my husband and even confessed that she coveted him. I didn't mean to use chrysanthemums as a bridal bouquet. She deliberately tried to exchange happiness with that bouquet. On top of that, she physically attacked the police officers, completely shattering her public image, assaulting police officers and slandering veterans. What kind of decent person would do that? For this assault on the police, she'll have to spend a few days behind bars. I wonder if her #1 fan, whom she hastily married, will step in to help her out. I got home, opened WeChat, and found that the person who exposed my moments still hadn't privately messaged me to apologize. It seems they're determined to go down this path without looking back. It's fine, I have patience. The lawyer's letter should be arriving at their place soon, right? The legal team quickly burned the collected materials onto disks and submitted several cases together. I didn't ask for compensation, I only requested that they write a handwritten apology letter and make a public apology. Some of those who took the opportunity to sell deepfake videos were additionally charged with distributing obscene materials, and the evidence was directly handed over to the police for investigation. Finally, the prosecutor's office filed a criminal incidental civil lawsuit against Tom, alleging that he had committed the crime of infringing upon the reputation and honor of heroes and martyrs. It was only at this point that Tom came to me, kneeling on the ground and begging for my forgiveness. "Crystal, I was just momentarily tempted. I saw that you had so much money right after graduating and thought you were being kept by someone, which is why I made inappropriate remarks. I really didn't know your elder was a hero and martyr," I sneered. "Oh really? But under that post, you asked me why the old man only had one leg, and I replied that he was a veteran who had been on the battlefield. Didn't you respond with a salute to the hero? Don't worry. I've also provided this evidence to the prosecution." Tom was speechless, his mouth hanging open for a long time. I just wanted to pursue you, but I used the wrong method. Please drop the lawsuit. I still want to take the civil service exam." Disgusting. I couldn't stand his words and almost threw up my breakfast. My husband sat beside me, holding my hand tightly. "If you really want to pursue someone, do it openly and honestly. Don't spread rumors and kick someone when they're down just because they're in trouble. Does it feel good to hide behind a screen, spreading rumors and watching the likes go up? When you end up in jail, it'll be our turn to feel good. With behavior like this, you still want to take the civil service exam. You're just wasting the country's resources by being alive." Well said, you really know how to put someone in their place. The mediation failed, and my husband and I walked out of the law firm, exchanging a smile. He said proudly, "My wife is amazing, of course. Just look at who I am." Tom was sentenced to 7 months in prison and required to make a public apology. The other defendants also apologized and deleted their accounts, and those who distributed obscene materials were also sentenced. As the buzz from the Bouquet incident faded and public attention shifted elsewhere, Lucy was finally released. It's unclear whether she had been properly educated, but instead of coming to me, she started live streaming again, trying to clear her name. "I'm sorry, everyone, I don't even know what to say. I just hope you can forgive me. I'm just an ordinary person. All the personas were crafted by the company, and the shoots were scripted. I've now terminated my contract with the company and can finally be myself. Next, I'll be going on my honeymoon with my husband. And I'll be making a few videos sharing some great honeymoon essentials." Before she could finish speaking, a pot-bellied man appeared in the video, holding a liquor bottle, and smashed it directly onto her head. "You damn woman, taking my money while thinking of another man. I've spent millions on you, and I never thought you'd want to swap happiness with someone else. I'll let you swap, let you swap." By the time the police arrived, Lucy had been beaten unconscious, and bystanders had released photos. Lucy's leg was broken, her flesh mangled below the knee, and her high-tech first love face was also scarred by shards of a liquor bottle. As her husband was taken away, he casually remarked, "This is just a domestic matter. I was drunk and didn't know my own strength." Lucy could no longer stand, and her husband only received a slap on the wrist, less severe than the punishments I've seen for distributing obscene materials. When the news came out, my husband was still a bit nostalgic. Back in middle school, she was really good at running. I remember she used to climb over the wall to go to internet cafes, and even the dean couldn't catch up with her. She was publicly criticized by the school several times. I also felt a bit emotional. I had been worried that after being domestically abused, Lucy would come back to cause trouble, but I never expected her husband to beat her so badly that she ended up disabled. But I don't feel the slightest bit of pity for her. Lucy chose this path herself. She hastily married a man she had known for less than 2 months in exchange for what she thought would be happiness. If happiness were so easy to obtain, wouldn't all the lovers in the world be a joke? I was strolling down the street with my husband, feeling wonderful. Suddenly, my husband patted me and said, "Look, 2 wedding cars have met ahead again." I looked up and saw the brides rolling down their car windows, smiling as they handed each other a box of wedding candies. The hope, joy, and happiness on their faces remain unchanged, making the bouquet in their arms appear even more radiant. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. I was born with a built-in lie detector, and those who lie will pay the corresponding price. My parents said they don't favor boys over girls, that boys and girls are the same. As a result, they became genderless and could no longer have children. My grandmother had no choice but to adopt a boy. To ensure the boy grew up strong and healthy, she tricked me and pricked needles into my head. The needles all ended up pricking her precious grandson. When I grew up, my boyfriend proposed to me. He swore he would love me for the rest of his life, or else be struck by lightning. In the end, he really was struck dead by lightning. My ability was discovered by a wealthy young lady, who asked me to test her boyfriend's loyalty. The offer was 3 million. Soon, I became popular among the wealthy circle, with many seeking my services. Staring at the long string of numbers in my bank account, I wished for the first time so fervently that there could be more lies in this world. After graduating from high school, just as I received my college acceptance letter, my boyfriend got down on one knee and proposed to me. Everyone around us was cheering, "Say yes, say yes, say yes." I looked at the cheap plastic ring in his hand and asked in a flat tone, "Do you really love me?" My boyfriend eagerly nodded, "Yes, I love you." He raised 3 fingers. "I swear, I will love you for a lifetime, or may I be struck by lightning." I believed it and showed a sweet smile, but the next second, the sound of a lie detection alert reached my ears. The familiar sound made the corner of my mouth stiffen. Immediately after, dark clouds gathered, and lightning flashed with thunder. My boyfriend looked up in confusion, while people around murmured, "It's going to rain." Then, I watched helplessly as lightning struck my boyfriend. My boyfriend remained in the same position, his entire body charred black, his dilated pupils unfocused. The plastic ring in his hand was scorched black and rolled straight out of his palm, just like his cheap sincerity. Shattered into pieces. "Ah, someone's dead." Disappointment flashed in my eyes as I turned and walked away, ignoring the screams and shouts behind me. I've been lying in my rented room for 2 days, Just as I was about to go to the kitchen to cook a pack of instant noodles, someone knocked on the door. When I opened the door, I was surprised to find that it was Wendy, the famous rich girl from our school. Wendy gave a signal to her 2 bodyguards, and they barged right in. I was forced onto the sofa, staring at her with wide eyes. "Your boyfriend is dead, right?" My expression shifted slightly. "How rude, asking so casually whether someone is dead or not." Wendy raised her chin, and the bodyguard brought out 2 suitcases. When opened, they were filled with money. "Bella, I know your ability to detect whether someone is lying. Help me test my boyfriend, and all this money will be yours." I was tempted but hesitated, reminding her, this could get someone killed. Wendy raised her voice. "Do you think I care? I'm so perfect. How could he not love me?" The lie detector beeped again, and I sighed inwardly. Wendy clearly cared a lot. The next second, the light bulb above fell down. The bodyguard swiftly blocked it with his own body over her head. Wendy screamed, quickly stood up, and looked at me in panic. "See, you lied. You care a lot about your boyfriend." I was born with a built-in lie detector. Whenever someone lies to me, an alert sound rings in my ears. Then, the person will face consequences. Big or small. Wendy's eyes lit up even more upon hearing this. "Then help me out. Do you need me to call him over? Here's his contact information." I added Charles's contact information first, but it didn't go through. He rejected me. Wendy seemed a bit pleased. "See, he's very good with boundaries." I stared at the money in the box, my eyes filled with desire. I cleared my throat and said, "How about you bring him over tomorrow? I'll test him in person and just ask a few questions." Wendy was excited. "Great." I saw them off, carefully closed the door of the rental room, and then threw myself at the money. I counted them one by one. I might never have seen so much money in my life, and my fingers cramped from counting. 3 million in total. I counted it 3 times back and forth. Wendy is really rich. I won't have to work part-time to pay for my tuition for all 4 years of college. But before I could be happy for a few seconds, my parents called. "Doggy, do you have any money? We want to give a gift to the matchmaker to help your brother find a wife." I said flatly, "I don't have any money." "Then it's perfect. I've found you a good family. Girls don't need to read so much. It's useless. You need to think about your younger brother. He's simple-minded, and if he ends up without a wife in the future, what will happen?" I couldn't help but laugh out loud. I hung up the phone directly. Immediately after, there was a barrage of messages and calls. All of them were calling me an ungrateful wretch with no conscience. When I was little, I had just figured out that I was born with a built-in lie detector. I eagerly went to test whether my parents loved me. "Mom, Dad, if you have a little brother, will you not want me anymore?" Mom gently stroked my face and said, "How could we not want you? You're our little sweetheart. Boys and girls are the same to us." That night, they became asexual. When they received the medical report at the hospital, they cried their hearts out. "My son, we're going to lose our son." It was at that moment I realized they didn't love me. They are all liars. No wonder they named me Doggy. I saw them crying so ugly, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. When my dad heard it, he grabbed a bamboo stick and was about to hit me. I shouted, "You are asexual. You're not even male. Are you still my dad?" Because of my shouting, the whole village knew about this matter. My parents were utterly humiliated and wanted to drink pesticide to end their lives that day. My grandmother had no choice but to bring back a boy, which immediately soothed their feelings. My parents spent all day doting on him and told me to call him my younger brother. Later, Grandma somehow heard of a folk remedy to ward off disaster. It could make her precious grandson thrive. Grandma took out 3 silver needles and found me. "Doggy, if I just stick these 3 needles into your head, you'll become smarter." My expression was cold, and the constant buzzing of the prompt in my ears was almost deafening. "Great, I want to become smarter. It just so happens that I want to test whether someone who lies to me can actually harm me. At worst, I can run away at any time." However, before the needle even touched my head, my younger brother started crying. Grandma hurriedly tried to comfort him, but he was still crying by evening. His parents were extremely worried and took him to the hospital. The examination revealed 3 silver needles in his head. He became intellectually disabled from that point on. The whole family was on the verge of tears, completely devastated. The experiment was a success. Those who lied to me can no longer hurt me. I gathered all the money and hid it under my bed, planning to deposit it in the bank tomorrow. Wendy acted quickly and sent me the address the very next day. It wasn't just Charles who came, there was also Wendy's best friend, Sarah. Wendy took the initiative to explain, "This is my good friend, she's very curious about you." I knew it. she was probably worried that Wendy might be scammed out of her money by me. No one would particularly believe that I have special abilities. I cleared my throat. Then let's begin. Charles sat up straight, his right hand interlocked with Wendy's. Do you want to marry Wendy? Charles nodded. Of course. I only want to marry Wendy. The alert didn't sound. Wendy looked at me excitedly. I wagged my index finger at her. No lies. Do you love her? Charles said resolutely. Love? We grew up together since childhood. We are destined for each other. The prompt sound still didn't ring. Wendy's smile almost reached the back of her head. Charles really did love her. She suddenly stood up. All right, the test is over. Bella, thank you so much. I didn't expect this money to be so hard to get. Sarah beside her sneered. Oh, Wendy, this person is just a scammer trying to cheat you out of your money. Don't end up losing everything you have. How could that be? I've already sent someone to keep an eye on Bella. That day, her boyfriend lied and was struck dead by lightning on the spot. So it turns out Wendy was there that day too. Sarah shrugged helplessly and said, all right, I'm going to get a manicure. If I had known it would be this boring, I wouldn't have come. I suddenly said, you're lying, you're not getting a manicure today. Sarah reacted strongly. What nonsense are you talking about? The next second, the coffee cup in front of us shattered, splattering everywhere. Charles let go of Wendy's hand and instinctively stepped in front of Sarah. The atmosphere became awkward. This was entirely Charles's instinctive reaction. I immediately realized that work was coming. Why did you block for Sarah? Charles sounded a bit flustered and instinctively looked at Wendy. Because she's Wendy's friend. How could I just stand by and watch her get hurt? The lie detector's alert sounded. The reason is not right. I got excited. Then what's your relationship with Sarah? Charles's voice faltered. She's my girlfriend's good friend. This time, it didn't ring. I'm asking about your relationship with Sarah. Don't bring Miss Wendy into this, Charles mumbled vaguely. We're barely friends. The notification sound rang again. You're lying. Charles looked flustered and said, what nonsense are you talking about? He suddenly looked at Wendy, saw the suspicion in her eyes, and panicked even more. Wendy, she's just a fraud. Don't believe her. Sarah and I are barely even friends. Sarah quickly added, yes, she must be lying. Wendy stared at him and demanded, what were you doing last Saturday night? Why did you have a woman's perfume on you? It turns out Wendy's suspicion had a basis. I asked again. Sweat dripped from Charles's forehead. He said dryly, I was tutoring. Wendy knows that. Lying again. I looked at Sarah and asked with a smile, what about you? What were you doing? Sarah nervously gripped her sleeve, not believing for a second that I could tell who was lying. She mustered her courage and said, I was getting my nails done. I change my nail art every Saturday. It's a habit I've always had. Sarah does indeed have a habit of changing her manicure every week, but that night she did more than just her nails. I looked at Wendy and said, they're all lying. Impossible. I have classmates who can vouch for me. Soon, his classmate arrived. I asked him seriously, did you personally see Charles studying that night and not doing anything else? His classmate nodded firmly. Yes, Charles was studying, I said helplessly. Miss Wendy, I suggest you investigate this properly. Everyone is lying, Sarah shouted. Will you ever stop? How could I possibly have an affair with Charles? You're just a liar, I said in a flat tone. Then do you dare swear that you and Charles are completely innocent? Sarah didn't dare. Although she didn't know how I could tell she was lying, she still felt a chill in her heart. I then turned to Charles and said, you swear it. I can certainly swear, but this matter ends here. I don't have time to keep dealing with a liar like you, Wendy. I'm so disappointed in you. I love you so much and even play along with you, yet you actually doubt me. Wendy thought about my boyfriend's outcome and felt a bit nervous. Maybe we should just drop it. I'll look into the rest myself. The atmosphere became tense. Even though it ended here, the money wouldn't be refunded. But I despise people who betray genuine feelings the most. I stared straight at Sarah and smiled. Miss Song. I don't recall saying that you and Charles were involved. Why are you both so anxious? Wendy's expression changed slightly as she abruptly turned to look at Charles and Sarah. Charles seemed agitated as he roughly ran his fingers through his hair. Wendy, are you two ever going to stop? You just suspect that I'm cheating, don't you? Fine, I admit it, I cheated. Are you satisfied now, Wendy? Your constant suspicion is only going to wear away my love for you. Not a single lie detection alert sounded for any of the statements. This is problematic. It means everything is true. Wendy felt a subconscious pang of guilt. Could it be that she was just being overly suspicious? Charles then said to Sarah, you make the vow. If the vow doesn't work, I'll compensate you with a car. Let's just play along with Wendy. Sarah's heart instantly felt at ease. She raised 3 fingers. I swear. If I had an affair with Charles and stole my best friend's man, may I be hit by a car the moment I step outside. Charles curled his lips into a smile. Is that enough? I nodded. It's enough. Charles held Wendy's hand. Wendy, you have to believe me, I really didn't cheat. The only one I love is you. Let it go this time. But I really can't take this kind of joke. Wendy's expression softened, and she nodded hesitantly. Goodbye, you can go back now. I still want to eat the snacks on the table. I lowered my head and ate the cake seriously. A piece of cake costs over 1,000. I've never tasted it in my life. Sarah rolled her eyes. Cheapskate. Wendy frowned and said, Sarah, you can't be rude. Sarah snorted coldly. Just as I was about to finish a piece of cake, I heard the loud screech of a car brakes. I picked up my coffee and stood by the window, looking down, seeing Sarah being knocked flying, unconscious, with her brains spilling out. Immediately after, the car didn't stop and crashed directly into Charles and his classmate. Screams erupted everywhere. Charles was slammed against a tree, clutching his leg frantically. Ah, my leg is broken, because everyone lied. The price was paid by everyone, to varying degrees. Wendy, flustered and fearful, looked up and met my gaze. I raised my glass to her. Your money was not spent in vain. Wendy followed me back to the rental house, crying non-stop along the way. I took out the tissue I bought for 0.9 yuan and wiped her tears. After all, she is my benefactor. Sarah died on the spot. Charles broke his leg. His classmate only had minor scrapes. It was a false alarm. I've done so much for Charles, even brought resources to his family. How could he betray me like this? Sarah comes from a poor family, and I even paid for her tuition. Why would they betray me like this? Wendy burst into loud sobs. I was a bit impatient, but considering she was the client, I still patiently said, that's actually a good thing. Some people don't even know their partner is lying to them. I finally managed to calm Wendy down. Then her bodyguard brought in several surveillance tapes. After seeing the contents inside, Wendy burst into tears again. It turned out that every time Sarah went to get a manicure, she was fooling around with Charles in bed. I found it a bit strange how they had so much time, while I had endless exam papers to finish. Soon, the neighbor came over to warn them, stop making a fuss. If you want to cry, get out and cry. I quickly covered Wendy's mouth, afraid she would start arguing with someone. Wendy sobbed. Did I do something wrong? I couldn't stand seeing someone reflect on themselves, so I blurted out, at the beginning, you said you didn't care. Wendy was stunned and said dryly, I should at least be sad for a few days. I sighed helplessly. You should go. I need to rest. As the start of school approached, my parents came looking for me with my younger brother. They barged into my house and looked around with disdain, saying, why did you rent such a small place? There's not even enough room for all of us. I keenly picked up on the information within. It really is small, but we don't have the money. Maybe you should go stay somewhere else, Mom said matter-of-factly. Then you give us the money. We don't have any, anyway. Ever since they found out they had become asexual, they were unwilling to work, just living off their small plot of land every day. I feel sorry for my grandmother. At her age, she still has to take odd jobs to support them. I was able to attend school because of my strong abilities, so I don't have to pay tuition. I didn't do it. My father sighed and said, if I had known, I wouldn't have let you go to school. You should have married earlier, and by now you'd have children. What a waste of money. My younger brother curiously wandered around the room and picked up my admission letter, throwing it at my father. My father carefully caught it and saw the name of the university. Oh, B University, a prestigious school. You must have gotten a lot of money as a reward for getting into B University, right? I replied coldly. There's no reward, but the next moment, Dad casually tore up the admission letter. Just stay home, don't go to school, it's a waste of money, we've already found you a good family to marry into. I stared at them. Do you dare swear that it's really a good family? Mom raised her voice. Doggy, do we, as your parents, owe you something? How dare you make us swear? We're only doing what's best for you. I kept a straight face and my mind was as steady as an old dog. For my own good, you can keep me from going to school. For my own good, you can adopt a younger brother for me. For my own good, you just tore up my admission letter. Upon hearing this, my father instantly flew into a rage out of humiliation and slapped me hard across the face. With a cold expression, I pushed aside my hair, grabbed my father's head, picked up the hammer on the coffee table, and swung it hard at him. Instantly, his head was bleeding profusely. You beast, still has the energy to curse. I punched him again. Dad cried out in pain, murder, murder, with their lazy do-nothing attitude every day. They simply couldn't stop me. I kept pounding, and soon Dad's bald head was a bloody mess. Mom wailed, "You beast, how dare you hit your own father?" I took a moment to mock. Is he even a man? He doesn't deserve to be called my dad. My parents were almost driven mad with anger. Ever since they became asexual, all their gender characteristics disappeared, literally asexual. Dad was afraid I would hit him again, so he completely shut up. Mom forced a smile and said, "Look, you've already hit us. Can you come back with us and get married? Would we ever harm you?" Lying again. "Then swear to me, swear that you will treat me well, swear that the in-laws' family is a good family, and I will go back with you." Mother's breathing quickened. She was furious, but for the sake of the 300,000 betrothal gift, she gritted her teeth and said, "I swear we will treat you well. That family is a good family, otherwise may we be struck dead by a plane the moment we step out." All right, being struck dead by a plane, the probability of that is really small. It seems they are quite good at choosing their oaths. Then let's go. My parents held my arms and eagerly took me outside. However, as soon as we reached downstairs, before my parents could even smile, my head was smashed open, leaving a hole. I stared at the ground, the sun casting their shadows. Blood spurted into the sky, some of it even splattered onto my face. The hands that were holding my arms loosened, and my parents fell straight backward. My younger brother witnessed everything and let out a sob in fear. Then, a scream from Wendy came from beside me. "Someone's dead, someone's dead." I looked at their bodies with an expressionless face. My parents' eyes were almost popping out. Right above their heads was a toy airplane model. It's very small, but falling from a great height can be fatal. Wendy hurried over to me and asked, "What's going on?" Lying to me has its consequences. I looked up toward the rooftop and saw several parents hurriedly pulling their children downstairs. They choked up as they apologized to me. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, we'll provide all the compensation we should. The children are still young, so could you please?" I glanced at the 3 kids and said to them, "Don't go playing on the rooftop next time. What if you accidentally kill someone?" Luckily, it was my parents who got killed. I signed a letter of understanding for them, but their conscience troubled them, so they scraped together 800,000 for me. Wendy was completely stunned by my actions. "They're your own parents," I said calmly. "They want to sell me for a bride price." Wendy fell silent for a moment, then asked, "What is a bride price?" She really is a young lady who knows nothing of the hardships of life. I arranged for a car to take them all back to our hometown. Grandma cried out for her parents when she saw their bodies. I left all 800,000 to her. After all, she still has to support her mentally disabled grandson. From then on, this family has nothing to do with me. After all the commotion, Wendy finally told me the purpose of her visit. "My aunt wants you to do her a favor." I frowned, testing a man again. Wendy shook her head. "No. My aunt doesn't care about a man's sincerity at all. She has no idea how many male favorites she keeps." "Name your price." Wendy held up a number. 10 million. I was instantly captivated, and I got into Wendy's car, arriving at her aunt's villa. At that moment, she was exercising with a man. Wendy gave an awkward smile. "That's just how my aunt is." Wendy and I waited for a while before my aunt finished. She waved at the man, and he obediently put on his clothes and left immediately. My aunt had a very hot figure. She casually draped her outer garment over herself and looked at me. "Handsome features, but the skin is a bit rough. I'm nervous." I'm straight." Auntie laughed and waved at Wendy, who immediately walked out. "I heard you can tell when someone is lying." I nodded. "Yes, from now on, you'll be by my side. And I'll give you 10 million every month." I was extremely shocked inside, but I remained calm on the surface. "What exactly will I need to do?" "Discuss work with me." "Got it." After that, I went out early and returned late with my aunt every day to discuss collaborations. Many people got to know me. They thought I was someone with connections. Well-informed individuals even tried to poach me with high salaries. Being able to tell when someone is lying gives you a natural advantage in the business world. My money kept growing as I shuttled between school and the company every day. Occasionally, I would take on a small project. To make things more convenient for me, Wendy set up a studio for me. She offered the money herself. The purpose was to keep me steady so I would work for her aunt. Of course, among the small tasks, the most common ones were emotional issues. I really don't understand why they are so fixated on relationships. No one will love another person for a lifetime. That day, the campus belle of B University came to find me. She looked troubled and handed me 100,000 yuan. She said, "This is the most I can give you. Can you please help me? What's the matter?" The campus belle could hardly bring herself to say it, her voice barely a whisper. "Can you help me ask my stepfather if he truly cares about me deep down?" I paused for a moment. "If you bring him here, I can ask him." A few days later, the campus belle actually brought her stepfather over. The two stood apart, and the campus belle looked at him with a conflicted expression, as if trapped in sorrow, unable to move on. Maintaining my professionalism, I kept my face devoid of any personal emotion. I asked very bluntly, "Do you love her?" Stepfather said, "I don't love her." He wasn't lying. The school beauty panicked, tears welling up in her eyes. "All right. Mission accomplished," stepfather said to me, after her mother passed away. "I've been raising her out of a sense of responsibility. She's just dependent on me. Once she becomes an adult, I won't take care of her anymore." The campus belle stood up excitedly. "David, I don't believe you don't love me." I held my ears in frustration, but the next second, the door to my studio was pushed open. I unexpectedly saw Charles wearing a prosthetic limb. "Uncle, why are you here?" He saw me. His eyes filled with hatred. The stepfather sighed. "Play with the child." The school beauty was still crying, her whole body trembling. Charles was very nervous. "You didn't swear, did you?" The stepfather was puzzled. "No. What are you here for?" Charles breathed a sigh of relief and gritted his teeth at me. "I have something to discuss with Miss Bella." The stepfather didn't seem to mind. "It seems Miss Bella is quite popular." After that, he left with the campus belle. Charles plopped down in front of me. "You liar, you ruined my life and killed Sarah," I said flatly. "You're the one who lied." Charles pointed at me. "I'm not done with you." That day, my shop was smashed. Scandals about me also broke out online. 2 elderly women and a 40-year-old man were crying to the media, accusing me of marriage fraud and swindling 300,000 yuan in bride price from their family. Then many more people emerged, some of whom were my former customers, claiming that I was involved in fraud and made money by claiming to see through people's lies. Many people who don't understand the situation definitely don't believe me and think I'm committing fraud. The police took me away. I calmly said to the police, "I haven't deceived anyone, nor have I engaged in marriage fraud." "You still claim you haven't deceived anyone. How are you any different from a pyramid scheme?" "The difference is huge. I can detect lies, but those who don't believe ultimately won't believe me." I contacted Wendy, and soon she sent someone to get me out, but without clarification, my reputation was still ruined. Walking on campus, I would still be insulted by others. I didn't care at all, secretly gathering evidence with Wendy. It was all done by Charles. Those who say I married for fraud, it was indeed my parents who arranged the marriage for me. My parents took the bride price privately. I contacted them to ask about the situation. It would be best if they could clarify and explain the reasons for me, so I don't have to waste my effort. The only person who came was Bob. As soon as Bob saw me, he rushed over and reached out to touch my face. He grinned, revealing his yellow teeth. "So tender." I've never slept with a female college student in my life. I avoided his hand and stared at him coldly. "How much did Charles pay you?" "Not much, just 500,000. "Great, you earned 500,000 by slandering me. Now help me clear things up. I never took your betrothal gifts, and I certainly didn't commit marriage fraud." Bob's eyes changed. "Are you kidding me? You're coming home with me right now to have a baby. Women are born to be slept with by me. Don't bring the bad habits you learned outside back home." I smiled helplessly. I didn't want to deal with them originally. "Bob, do you believe in karma?" Bob was taken aback for a moment, then sneered. "You're spouting nonsense again. I know you've made a lot of money through scams. From now on, I'll be the one handling the money. A woman like you can't manage it properly." Bob glanced around and noticed there was no one nearby. He grinned and said, "Honey, let me have some fun first, then we'll go home." I obediently let Bob push me to the ground. I looked at his ugly face and asked him, "Will you be good to me in the future?" Bob casually replied, "Of course I will. Let me have some fun first. I've never slept with a college student before." The lie took effect, and a prompt sounded in my ear. I turned my head and revealed a faint smile. A scream came from Bob, who was on top of me. He frantically covered his lower body and collapsed to the ground. I sat up, crossed my legs, and looked at him. I saw blood continuously flowing from his lower body. "Ah, someone, help." Bob struggled to stand up, wanting to go to the hospital. Something uniquely male fell from his trouser leg, so ugly. I stood up from the ground, coldly watching my desperate younger brother. Bob's eyes were bloodshot, his hands tightly clutching his precious manhood. "Doggy, what have you done to me? What have you done?" I said in a light tone. "I didn't commit fraud. It's true that I can see through whether someone is lying. Similarly, they will face consequences proportionate to the severity of their lies." This shows how significant Bob's lie was. I suspect he not only won't treat me well but might even mistreat me, so his most cherished lifeline was directly severed. I picked up my bag and turned to leave. Since this path was blocked, I simply had Wendy release all the tricks Charles had played. All the people were hired by him to smear my reputation. Public opinion flipped instantly, but the label of me being a fraud still couldn't be completely cleared. Many people still don't believe that I can see through lies. If such an ability existed, wouldn't the world be thrown into chaos? And indeed, it would be thrown into chaos. My studio has opened again, but Charles still refuses to let me go. He sent many people to cause trouble for me. I accepted them all without question. After all, they were making money for me, so why not? Charles repeatedly warned them, saying, "You must not lie to me, and even more so, you must not swear an oath." Coincidentally, someone who didn't believe in superstitions pushed their luck, both lying to me and swearing an oath. As soon as they stepped out of the room, they were struck dead by the sun. It was forcibly dried out. Instantly, a crowd gathered to watch. Charles used this as an opportunity to call the police and have me arrested, accusing me of murder. He even brought up the deaths of my ex-boyfriend and my parents. Charles was frantically cursing me at the police station. "You have to believe me, Bella is a jinx. She's killing people in her own way. She's a monster, she's murdering people." Charles had dark circles under his eyes and looked disheveled. He hadn't slept well for many days since his amputation. I sat in the chair without saying a word. I would only answer if the police asked me. "After the deceased left your studio, he suddenly self-combusted. Did you do it, just to prove your supernatural ability?" I shook my head. "I didn't do it." He swore to me that he didn't cheat his mother out of her pension, or else he would be burned to death by the sun. The result was truly death. He died by his own hand. A chill ran down Charles's spine, and an unknown fear enveloped him. I spoke softly. "If you don't believe me, you can check my surveillance footage. There's video recording of every moment of my work, every second, without any falsification." I looked up at Charles and said, "Don't provoke me again. I don't have time to waste on you. My purpose is to make money, nothing more." Charles was trembling all over, whether from anger or fear. "Bella, did you cast a spell on me?" Ever since Charles met me, things have not been going well for him. First, he lost his legs, and then he lost his parents' trust, completely cutting him off from the center of power. The Collins family didn't lack for sons, he was just one of them. I'm not that sinister, only sincere people can live well. Wendy arrived late with her aunt. "Bella, are you okay?" When Charles saw Wendy, tears welled up in his eyes. "Wendy, why are you still in contact with this evil spirit? She will harm you sooner or later. There's no way the world can exist without lies, and you can't go your whole life without telling a lie. Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid of the consequences coming back to you?" Wendy's breath caught. "Charles, it seems you still don't understand what is right and what is wrong. You betrayed me, you deserve to die, understand." Charles felt a sharp pain in his heart. "Wendy, I was just trying something new. I never intended to leave you. I want to marry you." Wendy laughed. "You only want to marry me because you're after the Williams family's power and influence." I spoke quietly. "Miss Wendy, as long as you don't lie to me, you won't have to pay any price, so you don't need to listen to his deceitful words. And telling a little white lie is no big deal. At most you'll just have a bit of bad luck. There should be room for well-intentioned lies in this world, shouldn't there?" After I was bailed out of the police station again, my aunt said to me, "I need you to negotiate with me tomorrow." After being messed with by Charles several times, my studio had to temporarily shut down, and I was too busy to handle everything. "Aunt is the big client." I nodded. Aunt laughed and immediately gave me a designer bag. "It's worth over $1 million. I accepted it. My aunt's tone was cold. "I won't let Charles off easy. I can't lose you." I knew it wasn't me she couldn't bear to lose, but my abilities. I didn't care. After all, it was my value that made me indispensable. Still, I was curious about what she would do to Charles, so I asked her, "How exactly won't you let him off easy? He doesn't even dare lie now. The Collins family is on the decline. By next year, I'll be able to take them over." I didn't expect that this negotiation would be with my aunt's husband, Mr. Green. "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Bella, Ms. Williams's assistant." I extended my hand to Mr. Green. When Mr. Green saw me, he seemed a bit nervous. he had certainly heard the rumors about me. Wealthy people tend to be superstitious, and given how unlucky I am, he was even more afraid. When I spoke to him, he didn't even bother to respond. The aunt rolled her eyes and kicked Mr. Green. Didn't you say earlier that you were unhappy with the divorce agreement? Why aren't you saying anything now? Mr. Green wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. You slut, you have no right to speak to me. Get Bella out of here now. The aunt sneered contemptuously. I'm just asking you. We agreed back then that we could each do our own thing, but no children were allowed. It was you who broke our agreement. Over the years, I've invested a lot of resources in you. You've really gotten your money's worth. Hearing another big scoop, my expression remained quite calm. Aunt glanced at me, and I quickly said, Mr. Green, where have you hidden your son now? Mr. Green began breathing heavily. You're killing him. You're all murderers. Mr. Green didn't dare to answer directly at all. I felt helpless and continued, Mr. Green, don't make me angry. I have plenty of ways to make you talk. If one day doesn't work, then 2 days. If 2 days don't work, then 3 days. I don't believe he can keep his composure. However, Mr. Green won't last 2 hours, because his aunt threatened his own mother. Everyone has a weakness. There's always a way to break through. Mr. Green slumped his head in despair. My son is in Washington, D.C., in the United States. Aunt's expression changed sharply. Someone, go and bring him back to me. What do you want to do? Aunt curled a smile. Of course, to reunite you and your son, Mr. Green was terrified. He knelt directly before his aunt, tears streaming down his face. I was wrong. I was truly wrong. I'm willing to leave with nothing. Please spare me. Leaving with nothing is far too simple, his aunt said softly. I won't let you off, but this is a society governed by law, and I have plenty of ways to deal with you. I looked at my aunt, a plan forming in my heart. Mr. Green was forced to lie and swear an oath. That night, he was struck by a crystal chandelier and had to undergo a high-level amputation to save his life. Aunt, are you going to do the same to that child? To my surprise, she didn't go for the kill. She said, the child is innocent, but without money, he is nothing and will only become a poor man in this lifetime. However, I accidentally overheard my aunt saying, why doesn't he believe me? Am I really that vicious as to harm a 7 or 8-year-old child? Aunt and Mr. Green had once shared a love, but it ended there. The next day, I received 10 million. I stared at the number in my bank card, my heart racing uncontrollably. I pray again, hoping there could be more lies in this world. I don't want sincerity, I just want money. Long live money. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.